The overall mandate of the agency is to manage the human resource capital of the state and turn it into assets for the state. Okay. When somebody is unemployed, okay, it's a liability to the state. Okay. But when they become functional, financially active, through some mechanisms put in place, they become assets and not liabilities. We have a lot of human resources in the state, and they are actually money. They are money in terms of taxes if they start to do business. They are money in terms of helping their families pay hospital bills, pay school fees, and take care of themselves. So that crop of human beings that we have, they're like raw materials. We need to convert them to finished products. So that was why the governor, in his wisdom, chose to establish Abia State Education for Employment Program. Even before the federal government launched Empower, E4E was already in place. And the same principle. The only difference is that the federal government has more money to execute the Empower, and the state didn't have money to execute E4E. Okay, so it's foresight for the governor to have established this to manage human resources. So the governor funded the agency. Then we began training, and we even gave our beneficiaries, we gave them First Bank ATM card, which served as both ATM card as also an ID card. And throughout their programs, all the money that's supposed to get was sent to them. So we trained the first 500 in ICT, because ICT is very important for the state. It's very important for the SME base of the state. The people who have been doing business in Aba for many years, most of them are a little bit older. They can't even handle Android phones. They don't know what to do with some of these things. So there was a need to infiltrate the system with some younger men that have ICT capacity and can support them to do things a bit better, and so on and so forth. So we began with ICT. We trained 500 of them across the 17 LGAs. We called NAPTEP. NAPTEP came and examined them. We had 96% success rate. Then we did our first graduation, which Dangote sent somebody. Innocent came himself. Dr. Ngige was here. The executive secretary of NAPTEP came all the way from Benin. She handled our certificate herself. And a lot of other prominent people came. Because of the effort of E4E, the World Bank was able to get the state to join YESO, Youth Employment and Social Support Operations. Okay. Basically, what has happened is that Abia State has now been placed, okay, on the platform where the World Bank, other people can now want to put into something. But it was good for the governor to have invested initially in E4E to create the basket that can now be used to collect, So apart from YESO, also based on what is happening with E4E and the progress we've made, the World Bank, again, actually they were designing a new program, and that program was based on the concept of E4E to some degree. So I was invited to go to World Bank in Abuja to present E4E. So during the formulation of that program is called IDEAS, Innovation, Development, Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills. Okay. So when they were trying to formulate it, so they were looking for indigenous ideas. So there were two of them. One was MAFITA. MAFITA was funded by DFID in the north. The other one was E4E, that was funded by the governor, Ikpeazu. Okay, so I went to the World Bank, I presented E4E. So they extracted some things from E4E, extracted from other people, and then formed this new project. And when they formed this new project, It's a grant, 6 billion naira grant for 6 states. And of course, Abia State was given a slot because of the status of Abia State as the SME capital of the nation. There are some fundamental things you have to do if you actually want to do proper human resource management. If you actually want to give somebody a skill, there are some things you have to do in place. That took some time for us to do. And I know people were a little bit anxious, people were a little bit worried, people were even wondering whether this is real or not. But Oyibo doesn't do things like that. There are some basic foundations you have to lay that can carry you for a very long time. One of the things we did was the assessment of all technical institutions in the state. We went around, we looked at all the schools, and then I advised the governor to support the rebuilding of 3 of them. One was BTC Aba, AFARA Technical, and UMUAHIA. Because again, if you're looking at long-term human resource management, you have to have credible systems and places where this can happen. And he bought into the idea. He got a new transformer for them. BTC was a place where people would go smoking, people were trespassing anyhow, they were stealing equipment, and so on and so forth. There was no fence. The governor provided fence for the place. He renovated some workshops and some buildings. This ideas program fitted into, if like I told you. So those 3 colleges, this is very important. Those 3 colleges which Dr. Ikpeazu was renovating are now being renovated by the World Bank with the grant that we're getting as a result of the effort that E4E Agency has already put in place. Okay. So within the next 2 to 3 months, work will begin. But within the next 3-4 years, BTC will be fully renovated. It will be an industrial place with so much going on. Same thing with AFARA Technical, same thing with UMUAHIA. They're going to be turned around entirely. And the format is a format of production units. The same thing we've done at the Multi-Skilling Entrepreneurship Development Center. Because the format these days is not to have workshops, you have production units. So the students go into a place where things are being produced and sold, not just to have a small workshop where you go to practice. So BTC, when it's fully renovated, should be able to support itself. Should even pay tax because it should be making so much money. And it will be a resource center where people in Aba can come to learn some things, to use the machines, and so on and so forth. Same thing with AFARA in UMUAHIA, same thing with GTC in UMUAHIA. And the courses that are chosen, the departments that are chosen, are aligned to the resources in that area. Okay, because UMUAHIA is the capital, and there are a lot of things around. So we'll look at courses that can benefit the industries in UMUAHIA and the service sector and the civil service and so on and so forth. Link up with the mechanic village at ANI-OHAFIA and so on and so forth. So industry will come in and work with that mechanic village and AFARA Technical to be something that is good enough for government house to service their vehicles in. So those are some of the fundamental things that E4E has done. What we are here for is for a long term. I believe that posterity will judge Ikpeazu kindly for that initial start that he gave for E4E, and the youths are going to benefit greatly. Today this week we're running a program trying to get people to be trained and supported to go into to access money from CBN, because CBN looked at us and appointed us an Entrepreneurship Development Institute, an EDI. As we go along, all the people we give skills will now top up the entrepreneurship training for them and give them a certificate which can allow them to access funds from CBN. That's what we're doing now.